kind of the same thing with the lawyer. You know, he's going to come in from out of town. They don't want to try these cases. They don't want to spend their time here, you know, trying cases. They want to, you know, try to get it settled quick and cheap, get their cut and leave. And you've got to take control of your claim. And my recommendation: bring it to a local lawyer that you can go to their office if you have an issue, drop off documents, and have somebody accountable right here in town. But yeah, so back to the original point.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of claim, Louisiana Insurance Guarantee Association set up that you need to file that lawsuit. Don't show up on December 24th with your claim, because you know it's going to be a nightmare trying to get all those filed. And we went through that with Katrina. How many did you file in the last month before?
Probably 100 in the last couple of months. Yeah. Yeah.
It was a nightmare. And it was like, okay, which one is this? And you know, it burdened the staff like crazy. We were hopping. You know, and we don't want to have to do that and frankly slip through the cracks. So
Yeah.
if your intention is to do that, get it to a lawyer and give that lawyer time to perhaps even work it out with LIGA. And if not, make sure they have enough time to file that claim, because we're, you know, a couple of days from being 2 months out.
Okay, we're going to break. We're going to sort of further this conversation to the top of the hour, but we got to go to break. It's Doug Sunseri, Albert Nico, your weekend lawyers, all things legal and sometimes sports. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Right here on Sunseri, WWL. Football season is underway. Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free, that's back. If your first bet doesn't win, just sign up with the promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. So sign up today.
Yeah, Doug.
Yes.
We have a Paul from Covington. He has a question about the justice of the peace. So did you want to take him now?
How many minutes we're going to have when we get back?
Probably about a little over 4 minutes.
Yeah, we'll take him. Paul, huh?
Join Odyssey and find your one thing. After Halloween, your used jack-o'-lantern and other gourds are great additions to any compost pile. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing? Take the energy. It's the one you gotta get some done. Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again. Somebody has to do something. Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside. Upside? What's that? It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank. Hold on. So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached? Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up. Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank,
Did I use a rejoin on the last break, or y'all just come out straight from the music?
We come out straight from the music.
To cash out of your Upside Cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card.
Coming back.
Okay.
$200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code HUGE for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. That's code HUGE. Use code HUGE for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill up. Cashback is available in gas, New Jersey, and Wisconsin.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nico, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Let's go to our phone lines. Let's go to Paul. He's got a question regarding justice of the peace. We've got about 3.5 minutes. Paul, what you have for us, man?
Well, I'll be quick. I learned from you guys that when trees fall into your lot from your neighbor's property, they're not responsible for any damage done, but they are responsible for removing the trees. And I had trees fall during the hurricane. I paid to have them removed. I called the owner of the property next to me, and he said he wasn't interested. That's not really what he said, but that's sort of what he said. And I couldn't get him to pay, so I took it to Justice of the Peace. I filed the claim. They served him. He hired a lawyer. They responded with some stuff about force majeure. I responded back to the lawyer saying that's not the issue here. And about a week later, get a notice of dismissal of my case from the Justice of the Peace. We never had a hearing.
Oh.
Never had a chance to get my way in court. And I'm wondering, what do I do?
Wood Parish.
This is St. Tammany.
You didn't have a hearing? Yeah.
There must have been some sort of motion for summary judgment filed or something filed by the court that you did not get served with. So I think what you're going to have to do, maybe file a motion for new trial to establish that you weren't served. Now, I know that they have, rules where they can serve you by mail and things like that. So I would go down there and find out exactly what happened.
Yeah,
pull
yeah.
the records, see what you have, and see what the judge said.
That's at the Justice of the Peace.
Yeah.
You go to Justice of the Peace's office, and you just ask them to see it. They'll let you see it.
Well, I called her about it, and she refused to talk to me about it.
You have a right to see the record, so I would go over to wherever it's the Justice of the Peace is located, and ask to see the record. And then I would see what would happen is there was a filing by you. There was obviously an answer. I would see if there was some type of motion for dismissal and a hearing date. And if there was a hearing, yeah.
And if you just still give it then send it in writing, so you'll be able to make an appeal. You can file a motion for new trial to have it dismissed based on non-serve. Okay, so basically I got to go see her in person, ask her to see the reason that if there was an argument made in writing to dismiss the case. I didn't get anything about that.
Yeah.
Right. And then if she doesn't have that, then I can go. I'm sorry, I was talking when you talked. Say it again. Yeah, you want to see what was filed. Go there and say, I want to see a copy of the record. And then, can I make a copy of it for me? And then take it and look at it. If you don't understand it, give us a call and we can see. What likely happened was they filed a motion for summary judgment saying, here's the law, it's force majeure, we're not responsible. But they are responsible for moving the
Okay, just give us a call at 837-1304, 504-837-1304. Local news, national news, see you in 10 minutes.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I'm Stacey Lynn in Washington. The election is a little more than 2 weeks away, but already about 7 million Americans have cast their ballots. And the battle for who controls the Senate is the most hotly contested race. Reporter Bruce Marcus with a key race in Wisconsin.
Republican incumbent Ron Johnson, who's seeking a third term, is considered vulnerable. But Johnson has pulled ahead of Democratic challenger Mandela Barnes in recent polls by charging the lieutenant governor as a radical leftist.
He's dangerous on crime. He supports all of the policies of the Biden administration.
Barnes is responding by claiming Johnson is a right-wing extremist who tried to overthrow the results of the 2020 presidential election.
Former President Trump hasn't said if he'll comply with the subpoena he was served from the committee investigating January 6th, but there is a lot of speculation on what he may do. Law professor Jessica Levinson.
It would be really remarkable at this point if he cooperates in any way. The more likely route is that he just says no, and the House Select Committee at that point says, okay, then we're going to vote on a criminal referral, not for the underlying events of January 6th, but for, as we saw in the case of Steve Bannon, obstruction of Congress.
Bannon refused to comply and was sentenced to 4 months behind bars. If you already applied for student loan forgiveness, you'll have to wait. The program is on hold. Persis Yu with the nonprofit Student Borrower Protection Center says be patient.
Because 22 million borrowers have applied for cancellation, obviously there's a lot of people who are very invested in cancellation actually happening. The administration is working to defend this policy in the courts, but the courts have overwhelmingly, sided with the administration.
Hurricane Rosalind slammed into Santa Cruz, Mexico this morning. The Category 3 storm made landfall around 7:20 Eastern Time, packing 120-mile-per-hour winds. Daniel Brown is with the National Hurricane Center.
The concern still is for damaging winds, storm surge, but as it does begin to weaken, the focus will shift more toward the heavy rain with potential for flash flooding and mudslides.
Rosalind's forecast to weaken later today as it pushes inland over the mountains in western Mexico. On the road to the World Series, the Astros beat the Yankees 5-0 last night in the ALCS Game 3. They moved within one win of the sweep. Yankees fans were not happy. This woman told WCBS TV she's feeling...
It took us 13 years to get here, and we can't even hit the ball.
In the NLCS, the Phillies have a 3-1 lead over the Padres, and a win coming up this afternoon would send the team to its first World Series since 2009. This is CBS News.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Visit libertymutual.com to learn more.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Ugh, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens FindRx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. Manage your annual enrollment ends December 7th. Find a plan that's right for you at walgreens.com/Medicare.
Oil keeps going up as the Russia conflict escalates. Help the U.S. with your patriotic investment that could potentially pay you monthly income for up to 20 or more years. If you're an SEC-accredited investor, you can take advantage of Encore Energy's projects. The U.S. government needs your investment in oil and is allowing you to write off nearly 100% of your investment in the first year. Call 800-278-7455. 800-278-7455.
WWL First News. I'm Dave Cohen on your official weather station, WWL.
Pleasant warming from 70s and lower 80s as we get closer to the afternoon hours. A mix of sunshine and clouds are expected today. No rain in the forecast, and winds should remain pretty light.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan. The Tigers did it again.
Daniel's going to keep it up the middle. He's free. 10, 5, touchdown! Fighting Tigers! 17-yard run for Jaden Daniels. 3 rushing scores on the day, and the Tigers lead 37-20. Hey now!
LSU takes down the Ole Miss Rebels, who were the 7th-ranked team in the nation. They get a week off now to rest up before taking on Alabama. More ahead in WWL Sports. After the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that all states must have unanimous jury verdicts to convict defendants of felony crimes, hundreds of inmates in Louisiana hoped they would get new
refused to allow the ban on non-unanimous jury verdicts to be retroactive. But Loyola Law Professor Dane Cialino says there is still hope for the 1,500 inmates impacted by the ruling to get a new trial. He says the legislature could change the law for one, and
The governor is free to grant clemency to individuals who are in jail on 10-2 verdicts. This is a big loss to those who had hoped for some relief, but it's not the end of the road.
It is a big relief to district attorneys across the state who do not want to retry some 1,500 cases. Early voting starts Tuesday for the midterm elections in Louisiana. The ballot includes all U.S. House Representative seats and the U.S. Senate seat held by John Kennedy. There are also local races, referenda, and proposed constitutional amendments. Here's Charlie Long with WWL Sports.
This WWL Sports Update is brought to you by TrainSouth.com. It's hard to stop a train. In a big home test against a top 10 opponent, LSU's defense stepped up to the occasion.
Overall. They have a bye week before their all-important home game against the Alabama Crimson Tide on Saturday, November 5th. And the 25th ranked Tulane Green Wave continued their strong start to the season with a 38-28 win against Memphis on homecoming to improve to 7-1 overall. The Green Wave also have an off week before returning to AAC play with a road game at Tulsa. Charlie Long, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Reaching the lower 80s this afternoon. It should remain light and the humidity will continue to climb today. Now on Monday, we'll see a few more clouds mixed in with sunshine and 30% coverage for showers and storms are possible as we go through the day. But overall, looking at a pleasant day and warmer temperatures climbing into the lower 80s. A cold front is expected to move through the area Tuesday morning, and that will create some more showers and thunderstorms looking for a 60% coverage for that, and winds are expected to pick up, and we'll see mostly cloudy conditions Tuesday with temperatures climbing as we head to Wednesday, much cooler air is expected to move in, with the daytime highs reach the lower 70s, with lots of sunshine around. Clear weather to forecast center.
You found it last time by the bed, right?
And I'm Dave Cohen, WWL.
Okay. You would have noticed if you didn't have it at school at the game, huh?
News Talk Sports Powerhouse at the Gulf
You checked the bed?
All things legal with Doug Sunseri, Albert Nico.
Hey, Kat.
Nico and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on our Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1800. Or connect
I don't know if you
now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union Studios in the heart of New Orleans. Here are our attorneys, Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nico, all things legal. Hour number 2, we're on till 10 o'clock today. Give us a call, 260-1870, or text us at the Oakland Heart Talk and Text line, 870-870. We're off next week, Albert, but the following week we play the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football, so therefore we will be on in 2 weeks, which would be November 5th, I guess. November 5th. It'll be the day after the LSU-Alabama game. So we'll be on in 2 weeks, and we had called Paul before, but Albert, I wanted to, for our listeners, again, we were talking about Hurricane Ida. If you could give a primer on Louisiana Insurance Guarantee Association, how they come into play, and I think it's very important that we tell listeners about this deadline, because I have a little, we're advertising on WWL about the deadline. We're informing, and I have judges calling me saying, I didn't know that was the deadline. And they were very surprised, and the special masters who are sort of managing these Hurricane Ida claims, were caught off guard by it also. So if you could sort of just take us back to how LIGA gets involved, and, how the deadline is different, as you explained last hour, from the regular deadline, and because I think it's very important for the listeners to know.
If this was something
think Department of Insurance, huh?
Yeah, Louisiana Department of Insurance, Bulletin 2022-06, and basically it's from the General's office, and it says, let's see, a claim has to be open and active. First-party property damage claims against insolvent insurer. So you have to have an open claim and an active open claim against this insolvent insurer. And then he goes ahead and lists the insurance companies, and I'll go through State National Fire Insurance Company, Access Home Insurance Company, America's Insurance Company, Lighthouse Property Insurance Company, Lighthouse Excalibur Insurance Company, Southern Fidelity Insurance Company, and Western Property and Casualty Insurance. There is a prescriptive deadline in which to institute litigation, and they extended it through December 31st, 2022. It says it applies only to existing open first-party property damage claims that are being actively adjusted with LIGA. So it's a little confusing because I don't know. So, for instance, Southern Fidelity, we've been trying to get in touch with LIGA regarding a number of Southern Fidelity claims, and we're not getting any help a lot of times with LIGA. And so I'm unsure whether or not those are considered open, active claims actively being adjusted by LIGA. And so out of an abundance of caution, we'll know a little more about those particular claims closer to the deadline. But, out of an abundance of caution, you might want to just file suit because you don't want to be caught in that trick bag. And you can always, look, there's case management orders and different settlement special masters set up trying to negotiate these for you, both in federal court and in a lot of the state courts. So even though you do file suit, you still will have that opportunity to negotiate with the other side to see about getting it resolved. Now, keep in mind, once LIGA takes over, there's some limits on the amount that can collect, and there's also no penalties or attorney's fees for bad faith. So those all go away when your insurer becomes insolvent. So, unlike currently where we would have that opportunity to collect back penalties and attorney's fees from the insurer during the settlement process, or even bring it forward to a lawsuit. When LIGA is involved, once LIGA takes it over, it's kind of like an insurance company for the insurance companies, and so it basically makes clear that you don't have those rights. The objective is to have enough money to where we can at least pay off the claims, and LIGA won't be responsible for the bad actions of prior insurance companies with their judgment.
Yeah. In discussing how that, penalties and attorney's fees affect the negotiation, basically what happens is if an insurance company doesn't get undisputed money out within a 30 or 60-day period, and there's some other activities that could be bad faith, the insurance company, there's some penalty provisions for penalties and attorney's fees. And the way it really works, and I think we've probably done between both of us, we've probably done over 100 mediations so far just for Hurricane Ida or settlement conferences, is that when you get into the mediation, there's the insurance companies, contest certain issues. Do you have to pull out all the sheetrock? Do you have to tear out all the floors? Do you have to replace the air condition? Do you have to, to the full extent of the roof replacement, or is it a patch? All those issues. And in the way the penalties and attorney's fees functionally work is when you start having those disputed issues, the homeowner's attorney would say, bad faith, bad faith, bad faith, meaning you got a problem no matter which direction we're going to go because there is undisputed money that didn't come out soon enough. And the real effect that happens is in these settlement negotiations, the insurance companies will back off of certain contested issues knowing their vulnerability for bad faith and say, okay, even though we do have some contested issues that may or may not be, may be legitimate, we do not want to explain to the court why we sat on our hands for 6 months before we got a payment out. So therefore, we may not contest certain issues as hard as forcefully as we would otherwise. And so a lot of the bad faith statute has that enforcement mechanism that helps give a incentive for the insurance company to resolve things quicker once you get it into a litigation phase. And also, since they have some vulnerability, they'll give a little more. There's a lot more give and take than they would if they didn't. And, I'm sure you experienced the same thing, Albert.
Well, and I have, yeah. And, it's all about risk, right? And managing risk. And that's what insurance companies want to do. They want to manage what their risk is moving forward. And so, the desk adjuster has to rely on the field adjuster. And the desk adjuster has a claims manager. And that claims manager has a claims supervisor. So a lot of times when they want to pay something, they want to pay it and manage the risk of what they have to pay in the future, what they might have to pay. And, the last thing I think a desk adjuster wants is some sort of finger pointed at him or her that, you were in bad faith, you didn't handle your claims timely, you didn't X, Y, Z. And so, they're going to want to try to massage that, get the claims settled. Be careful signing a release. You don't have an attorney, hey, we'll pay you this. One of the issues with that is they may say, okay, we'll pay you this, and this. But then they don't pay you the recoverable depreciation. So if they've factored it out at 25%, depreciation, well, once you get that work finished, you submit that claim, copies of your invoices, receipts, photographs, etc., showing that the work was done, and you submit that to them, say, send me my recoverable depreciation. Well, if you signed a release, they're done, and they don't owe you that. So just be careful before you sign anything, and really let a lawyer take a look at your claim. Okay, yeah, look, they paid me this and this. Well, let me take a look at it, because if they didn't pay you your first check in within the 30-day period that they're required to do so, then they may in fact be liable for penalties and attorney's fees for bad faith. If they wrote you, I have one right now. I just got the settlement check in. We had a situation where they came out, guy had an $8,000 deductible, and they ended up paying him like $9,300. The little depreciation, he got a check for $600. And he said, this is crazy. So we sent our guys over there. They went through it, and the claim was like $90,000. So they come back out and re-inspect it. And when they re-inspected it, they agreed that the claim was $87,000. And so at that point, they're in bad faith. There's some case law from Katrina right on point that says, look, your duty to adjust claims fairly and timely, or not just to go out there and take some money within 30 days. You have to do it fairly. And if you're going to come out and give $9,000 the first time and 10 times more than that upon re-inspection, obviously that first claim that you prepared is grossly inadequate. And you are now in bad faith for that, the insurance company is. And so there are a lot of claims out there like that. And finally, they got an adjuster to come out and, okay, yeah, we'll pay you more money. And we've done very well. I've cited the case. I've explained in the letters how it applies to this particular claim, and how, hey, you got this claim on September 6th. You adjusted it on September 10th. Your adjuster held on to that claim for 2 months and didn't complete the claim. And then when you got it, you waited another 35 days to send a check. Well, that's bad faith. You got it. Once the insurance company is apprised of the loss, then they've got to go ahead and pay. And they've got to do it within 30. And if they don't, the 30-day penalty is a 50% penalty of the damages that were determined. So if they claim that your loss was worth $60,000, but they don't pay you timely, getting that money. The double damages issue, the 2 times damages, that's the 60-day limit. That's calculated a little differently. Okay, the Supreme Court went through this. And basically, what that is that is 2 times penalty is not based on the damages you sustained to the property or to yourself. That is damages that were caused as a result of their breach of duty. Okay, so an example of that would be you had, I don't know, $10,000 in additional living expenses. You had a limit, right? Well, they didn't pay you for 10 months or a year. They didn't pay you what they should have paid. So your argument is, well, wait a minute. I've exhausted my first $10,000, but after that $10,000, I started incurring, $1,000 a month to live somewhere else. And so I've lived there for 10 months, and so now you finally paid me. So I'm entitled to that $10,000 plus 2 times penalty, because those were damages that I sustained as a result of the breach, not the damages that I sustained from the storm, but the damages from the result of the breach. And so, so there are a lot of things that they're not supposed to do and that they do that would be considered bad things. If the let a lawyer look at it before you sign that release, they want to pay me this, and it's pretty close to what my adjuster came up with or whatever. Well, let somebody take a look at it and say, hey, they didn't pay you for 4 months. The first check was that. They got to do it within 30 days of being apprised of the law.
Let me throw this question at you, which a lot of people, happens. So a lot of times, you have a mold estimate that's $10,000, a mold limit for $10,000. But if you got an estimate for $25,000 for mold, even though you can only collect $10,000, could you explain how your premium could be absorbed because that particular element of damage is over the limits?
I'm not sure what you mean.
In other words, if you have a mold estimate that's $10,000, okay, you have a mold policy with a $10,000 limit, and you have a $5,000 deductible, and then you have a mold estimate that the insurance company acknowledges is correct as $25,000. They say, yeah, you have $25,000. So you have an excess of $15,000 over the limits for mold. And so, the concept is if you have some type of excess over the policy limits for a certain coverage, you can use that excess to offset your deductible. So in that scenario, if a homeowner was assessed, the insurance company agreed. Yeah. Yeah. If the insurance company, yeah, you go ahead, Albert.
Once you reach your limit and you go over your limit, whatever coverage you might get, then the deductible is waived. Otherwise, you'd never reach your limit, right? So if you, let's say you have $100,000 limit on construction and a $10,000, but let's say a $5,000, 5% deductible. Okay, if your claim is $100,000 even, then you would get $95,000 because you've got a $5,000 deductible. But if your claim's $120,000, you've exceeded that $100,000 limit, so there would be no deductible because your deductible is absorbed into the excess.
Right.
Otherwise, you'd never have a $1,000 limit, and they're always going to take the $5,000.
Right.
So yeah, so that's from the deductible, it would be absorbed in the excess.
Yeah. Okay. Taylor, let's go to a break. It's Doug Sunseri, Albert Nico, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Just can't get enough black.
Okay. Pat, okay.
curiosity, how many legal questions start with, so my neighbor?
So my neighbor or my friend, if it's more of a, like a personal issue. So my friend's wife has this issue. What do I do? Or they change their name. Yes, yes. Or I haven't paid my taxes in 10 years.
One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
We're all on this planet together. So join Odyssey and find your one thing. Now that it's autumn, check window and door seals for proper insulation and replace your car's air filter. Join Odyssey. And together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Escape the everyday with the capable and rugged Toyota Tundra. Wherever your next adventure lies, the Tundra is ready to take you there. Visit your local Toyota dealer or go to Toyota.com today.
2022 is the year for that diamond upgrade. Time to go from a 1 carat to a 2 carat, or a 2 carat up to a 4 or 5 carat. It's true, going bigger is in, but that doesn't mean you have to overpay or compromise on quality. Diamonds Direct is your best destination for large, unique, and rare diamonds. These are exquisite, hand-picked, precious diamonds from 2 carats to 20 carats, in all shapes, independently graded by the GIA. These diamonds have all been chosen for maximum brilliance. Best part, Diamonds Direct stunning large diamonds are sourced from the best ethical diamond cutters around the globe, purchased exclusively for our showroom, and free from any broker or middleman upcharges. This means you can go bigger with the confidence that you're getting the highest quality at the best possible price nationwide. You see, at Diamonds Direct, we're more than just another jewelry store. We're the nation's true diamond experts with unrivaled selection, uncompromising standards, and unbeatable value. Let us prove it today with your diamond upgrade. Diamonds Direct, the direction, showroom hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
In your business, this has been a bumpy ride. The pandemic, inflation, how should you be great? When your business is viable on you might be eligible to receive a tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained and still no payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com/sports. That's getrefunds.com/sports.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business. Let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com. All things legal with Doug Sunseri and Elmer Nico on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the open text line 504-260-170.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nico, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We got Coleman back at the studio, keeping it straight. Thank you, Coleman. Man, day after LSU game, my voice doesn't always make it 2 hours, so let's hope for the next half an hour I can keep my voice. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Pat. Got a question regarding rats. So, Pat, let's hear about your rats, man.
I'm going to give you a little scenario of what's been going on, if it's all right with you.
Absolutely.
Basically, I live in a development on the North Shore over in Covington, and it's a subdivision. And one of the neighbors basically has bamboo. The bamboo is about 32 feet high now and about 6 feet in depth, 90 feet long. The problem I've been having is over the last couple of years, the rats have been coming through and running along that fence. And in a 2 week, I'd say about maybe 3 weeks ago, in a 2.5 week period, I caught 10 rats and they 2 feet long. I've gone to the state health department and they said if we had a restaurant near us, they could help. But they advised me to St. Tammany Environmental. I contacted St. Tammany Environmental, and they said the only thing they handle is sewage and water. It's to the point that I got game cameras, and I can see where the rats are coming from. But I just don't know what to do anymore, basically, since I can't get the state or parish to help out. When you got 2 feet rats, and some of them even, I got photos from the game cameras that they even coming out in the daytime.
What's the origin of what's attracting the rats? Do you know?
Well, according to the health department, and according to, here's the other thing that's going to really be amazing. They said the bamboo are known to be a rat infestation place for them. When I contacted and went to my local pest control that I have that takes care of our property, they said, let's see that again, and they saw a box, that's a black box, and they said that might be one of our boxes, and so come to find out that is one of their boxes, but I said, apparently your boxes aren't doing too good since in 2.5 week period I caught 10 2-foot rats. And they said the only way you're going to get rid of the rats in that situation is if your neighbor gets rid of the bamboo.
Wow.
And the bamboo for years, I've contacted the neighbor numerous times because it winds up eventually hanging over in our backyard anywhere from 5 to 7 feet. And, a year and a half ago, they said they spent $8,000 or $9,000 to trim the bamboo and had 2 18-wheelers haul off the bamboo. But I don't know what to do anymore.
Let me ask you, does the neighbor have pets?
No, not that I know of. The only thing that I know that they do have is stray cats that come from their backyard.
Okay, because I'm just wondering if stray cats are probably attracted from the rats, but I'm just wondering if maybe you could talk to the neighbor to see if they can put poison down, within the bamboo.
Their pest control is the same pest control that we have. And that my pest control told me, it's their traps that they put in the bamboo. But between the rat traps that they put and the cats, they're not doing their job. Because if you catch, in a 2 week period, you catch 10 rats that are 2 feet long, and I got photos of these things, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
How long is the fence line? How long is the fence line?
This has been going on for
feet. How long is the bamboo line? How many feet?
The bamboo is 32 feet high, and it's approximately 6 feet deep, 90 feet long.
Jeez.
The back of our fence.
Well, I think from a legal perspective, I think one of the concerns is the practical aspect of the cost of trying to remedy the problem. Because, I do think, and I'm saying this generally from if a neighbor in occupying their house creates a nuisance to the neighbor, I'm sure there's some statutes that would probably give you a foothold in to a certain extent. Yeah.
I think the problem is that it's a natural occurring substance, the bamboo, right? I mean, it's there, it's naturally occurring, and I didn't create it. It's just, the
Yeah.
is there, and I would think that the bamboo problem just as much as you do. And so, I mean, I think that the answer is to try to work together. I guess short of.
I tried that. I've taken pictures of the bamboo hanging over in our yard, and she's been in my yard and my next door neighbor's yard, because my next door neighbor has a problem with cypress knees coming from their trees. But it's the trees they planted and the bamboo they planted, and it's when I sent the text to the husband texted me back as far as asking him to trim the bamboo. He basically told me if I trim the bamboo myself and any of the bamboo goes in his yard, that he'll see me in court.
Are you in a subdivision or more of a rural area?
No, I'm in a subdivision, and I've contacted the homeowners association management about it, and that doesn't go too far.
Okay, so I mean, is there? And I'm just thinking out loud. Are there any code regulations in Covington, which I don't know, that have certain limits on height of fences and that sort of thing?
As far as height of fences, yeah. But that's not the problem. The problem is the bamboo.
I understand.
As far as the state health department told me, they said if you have bamboo near your house, you're going to have a rat infestation. And when the pest control company told me the only way you're going to get rid of the rats that are coming along your fence from your neighbor is if they get rid of bamboo. So it's like, it'd be different if the bamboo leaves. I mean, my whole yard is covered with bamboo leaves that I got to rake up at least once and a half, twice a week. But the problem is the bamboo on their side of the property has built up to the point that it's several inches high with just rotten bamboo leaves just stacked up all along. And I contacted an attorney about 2 years ago, and that attorney contacted them, and that's when they agreed to trim the bamboo at a cost supposedly of $8,000 to $9,000 with 218 dump truck loads hauling it all. But the problem is that's been over a year and a half ago, and we got the same situation again.
Yeah. That's why bamboo flooring is so popular, because it just grows so quickly, and it's just gonna take over at some point, their yard, and I mean, I think your best bet is contact that attorney again and tell them, take pictures, they do the rats, and then tell them to do it again. If they got to keep paying $7,000-8,000 every year to trim those things, they may want to get rid of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would have a duty to mitigate in order to protect their neighbors, but that's.
Yeah, because the thing what you're just saying is that the rats, according to the health department, their urine and
their pellets.
That you can get from them are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I would have that same lawyer contact the people again, send the photos, hey, look, keep them trimmed, and it's a rat problem, put them on notice, and if they've got to spend $7,000-8,000 again, or if they got to do it every year just to trim those things, they may get the message and say, okay.
We need to do something.
Spend $20,000 to just,
get rid of them. All right. Well, all right, Pat. Thanks for the call. I know we wasn't as helpful as you'd like, but I think you have some ideas on what to do next. Thanks for the call. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nico, your weekend lawyers, all things legal at WWL, AM, FM, Odyssey.com. We'll be right back after this brief timeout. Gosh.
After a weekend of football, time to second guess.
Are the lines clear? Hey, Coleman. Okay, gotcha. Just let me know.
Second guess with the two Cajuns, Bobby and Mike. Mondays, 4 p.m. till they get tired of talking on WWL.
There's never been a better time for football fans to join the huddle with BetMGM. $4 pre-game wager on any pro football team to win. If any player scores a touchdown in any pro football game, you'll win $200 in free bets, regardless of your wager's outcome. Just use the bonus code MikeD200 when you make your first bet. Get on the field and find out why nothing beats a win at BetMGM. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use the bonus code MikeD200 to win $200 in free bets if any player scores a touchdown in any pro football game. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.
21 years of age or older to wager. Louisiana only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued.
All right, we have a Brett on the North Shore. He has a question about his insurance company went bankrupt after hiring another insurance company to go me. I guess he wants to recourse to something.
At Diamonds Direct, we love sports, especially local college sports.
Yeah. All the legal jargon goes over my head, so when I sound like a complete idiot, that's my fault.
LSU Athletics and Tulane Athletics. We see Green Wave fans and Fighting Tiger fans in our showroom every week. So we're not picking sides. We're supporting both these great teams. If you're a fan looking for game day jewelry, or if you're getting engaged this football season, come see us and let us show you the best quality, the best value, and the best customer service. We're New Orleans' preferred jeweler, with a selection that's up to 30 times you see at other stores, with thousands of hand-picked diamonds that come straight from the diamond cutters, all shapes, all sizes. And with every purchase, you get free service for 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. So sports fans, you don't have to compromise. Diamond.
I'm sorry, Coleman. I stepped away. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so okay, gotcha. Yeah, well, 5 minutes. Gotcha. I'll stay on schedule.
Scarface Al Capone, the king of the gangsters, was convicted of federal tax evasion. It took 2 years to get him, but Uncle Sam has lots of patience. Capone, found guilty on 3 counts, should be sentenced to 11 years behind bars. A lot of Chicago folks are on hand in federal court. Scarface Al Capone went to the Atlanta penitentiary, but after bribing guards and getting special treatment there, he was transferred to Alcatraz until his release, suffering from advanced syphilis 8 years later. Capone died in 1947 at the age of 48.
This moment in history brought to you by Acme Oyster House and Turo Hospital.
Have you ever craved Drago's world-famous butter garlic sauce? That mouth-watering, perfectly coated flavor on top of Drago's original sharp boiled oysters? Crave no more. Now, Drago's butter garlic sauce is available in your local grocery store or Walmart. Drago's steak, chicken, it's the best tasting visit your local retailer or Walmart for Drago's butter garlic sauce, or visit dragosrestaurant.com.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You're not required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to confuse, Assist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-663-1313. 800-663-1313. That's 800-663-1313.
Get big with the Major League Baseball postseason with the BetQL Network. Here's Chelsea Messenger from the Daily Tip.
It's the best time of the year in Major League Baseball. That's right, the postseason. Betting on postseason baseball can be a little tricky, but there's a couple things I usually rely on. Teams with top finances and also postseason experience.
Download the free BetQL app right now and get instant access to the industry's most advanced betting tools. Win big this MLB postseason with BetQL.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nico and Sunseri now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nico, your weekend lawyers. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Brett from God's Country in the North Shore. What you have for us, Brett?
Hey, Doug. Hey, Albert.
Hey.
I have a place on Lake Catherine, and it was damaged heavily by wind and water after Hurricane Ida last year. Allstate settled with me very quickly on my flood. My wind was covered by Access Insurance. Familiar with that? They went bankrupt, and the claims were taken over from Ida. I filed my claim timely. They sent an adjuster out timely, and we came up with a number, and then I didn't hear from for like 3 or 4 months. And finally, when I did hear back from the adjuster, he told me about Liga taking them over, and it finally took about 6 months to settle the claim. The claim was for about $28,000. I had a $12,000 deductible, so I wound up with about $16,000. My question is, do I have any recourse as far as for late finalizing the claim?
No. Yeah.
I'm sorry, for what?
For late filing, late responding to your claim. Is that correct? Yeah. Penalties and attorney's fees. Yeah.
Correct. Now, if they didn't pay you 100% of what you claim your damages to be, you would have that claim with Liga unless you sign some form of release. You can still make the claim for the difference. So if you really had $40,000 in damage and they only paid you $23,000, then you would be, you would be able to at least make the claim for the difference. And let me tell you, we believe it or not, it sometimes depends from adjuster to adjuster. We've had some Liga adjusters that say, look, we're going to try to get some money on the streets. We're going to try to pay you, et cetera. We've had other ones that, think it's their money and don't want to pay you a penny. So, with that said, there's a possibility if you file that claim with Liga, and keep in mind you're going to have to file suit by the end of the year, you can then perhaps collect the additional amount.
Right. The amount that they actually settled with me for was what the adjuster come up with, but it was less than $12,000 deductible. And I guess I realize the deductible, that it is what it is, but my question is more in relation to, y'all were speaking earlier about the fact that when they're late in settling the claim over 30 and 50 days, I know Liga may have some protections that other insurance companies are not.
That's correct. Yeah, Liga is not going to be responsible for any bad faith practiced by the previous carrier, or sadly, by their own bad faith practiced by their adjusters. So basically, it is set up to where the state wants to pay people for their primary claims only through Liga.
Yes.
Not dealing with the excess of penalties, attorney's fees, etc. They want to make sure there's enough money in the kitty to get at least everybody their actual damages paid. So there's no claim for penalties or attorney's fees for any bad faith.
So really, my only recourse then would be to look at the actual claim itself and determine whether or not there was a fair settlement based upon my debt.
That's correct.
Where are you in Lake Cap? I got a place about 2 miles from the Wrigley's on the Lake Pontchartrain side.
I'm 2 miles from the St. Tammany side on Lake Catherine, right in the middle of the island.
Oh, what zone are you in?
I'm in zone 7.
Yeah, I'm in zone 7 too. We're neighbors. I've got a yellow camp with a green roof. It's right next to that big white one with the little widow's walk at the top.
Yeah, I know your camp, and mine is right next to the big old lime green monstrosity. Named mine is the Redneck Yacht Club.
I know exactly where you are. If you see a car out front, stop by.
Stop by and visit. And look. Also, when you stop by, Albert's got a great bar, so have a few drinks too. All right. All right. Thanks for the call. All right, let's go to our final break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nico, your weekend lawyers. All things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers. Call 504-444-4444. Sunseri spokesperson Chad Dudley.
Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000.
Coleman, how long are we going to have?
Just sign up with the promo code ABEAR. Look, FanDuel.
Yeah.
The money lines, the point spreads, the player props. You can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same game parlay. And with live betting, you get updated odds on games that have already started, and you get your winnings paid back. About a good 4 minutes.
All right, thank you. No, that's perfect.
Sign up with the promo code ABEAR. That's HEBERT. No sweat first bet. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL and WWL Radio.
21 plus in present Louisiana. Private parishes only. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable. Free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877.
Yeah, the timing is not an exact science. The hard clock that we go on is a computer clock kind of
Off. No problem. Yeah. We'll close up with sports.
Before you get down on one knee, get on down to Open Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road.
Fall is coming, bringing cool air with it, and Keeps Air Conditioning, Heating, and Electrical offers a
I just played music. No rejoin.
Okay.
$119. That's right, a 25-point tune-up for just $119. With cold air coming, get your heater ready to keep you warm and safe inside. Call Keeps AC Heating and Electrical at 1-833-4KEEPS or find us online at keeps.com.
Keeps Air Conditioning and Heat.
And now electrical.
This is Shane Mulkey. I started Final Tech 22 years ago at 24 with blood, sweat, and tears, installing everything myself. Hard work made me who I am, instilled from my parents, and I'm just as passionate today. We have a great team of high-caliber people that I would go to war with. We've received thousands of calls for repairs since Ida and never turned anyone away. Thanks from the bottom of my heart to all who gave us a chance to work on your home. We're here for your roofing, siding, gutters, and windows when you need us. FinalTechNOLA.com.
Hey, Slidell, we want your stuff. Dependable storage now open.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-256-4180 if you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled file tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-256-4180 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-256-4180 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-256-4180.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. After Halloween, you can put a turn away.
All right.
Rewards for creations to any profile. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nico. Your weekend lawyers. You give us a call at 504-837-1304 in Metairie, 504-837-1304 in Metairie. And the North Shore office is 985-624-9697 in God's Country in Mandeville. Albert, I want to end on a great note. The New Orleans Pelicans, they have played 96 minutes of basketball thus far in 2 games. They have not been behind for 1 second. Not for 1 second. That is just...
I said it, before the season started. We're going to see what kind of coach Willie Green is when he can introduce Zion into that chemistry that they had last year and make them all fit, make them all play together, keep the egos at bay. And in the first 2 weeks, he seems to have done that. And I think his CJ McCollum has got the...
Oh, it's great.
And I think he's been able to talk to Brandon Ingram and Zion and say, look, guys, you guys can both be alpha dogs and we can win a championship one day. But you can't not play with each other. You got to play together. The Shaq and Kobe thing, right? And there was something on ESPN. It was awesome if you get a chance to see it about the Lakers. But it was this little focus on Shaq and Kobe and how Kobe wanted to be it, and not share the limelight with Shaq. And Shaq didn't appreciate it. And they had a couple of years they were, how can you not win a championship? And finally they got together and started sharing the ball and playing together, and they won. So it's the same concept with Zion and Brandon Ingram. Both of them are superstar, all-star players.
How do fortunes change? This time last year, I think they started out, 1-15 or 2-15. I mean, they were on a skid. And we're wondering about the viability of the New Orleans Pelicans in New Orleans, especially since they were having a handful of people going to the games. 1 year later, Charles Barkley is saying they might come out the West in the finals. So what a difference a year makes. And tonight they're playing the Utah Jazz, and without Donovan, and healthy injuries, and keeping Zion healthy. Mm-hmm.
Here's what I love. I love that this team is everything right about the NBA.
Absolutely.
So much that disgusts a lot of people. But this team is everything that's right. He's got a good coach. He's got a great temperament. They play together. They love each other. They're high-fiving on the bench. They want to see all of their teammates succeed. And it's fun to watch. And they all talk about that chemistry in the locker room. That's what sports is about. That's, it's playing your best, playing with your teammates, everybody trying to make each other better.
And I think we've caught lightning in the bottle for the next 3 or 4 years, and so we'll enjoy it. They're playing the Utah Jazz tonight at 6 o'clock. Tonight's atmosphere, the sellout, is going to be a playoff atmosphere. It's going to be sort of raucous. And so, we don't have Saints today, but we have Pelicans, which is and when you're talking about basketball in October, you know that we have a good team. And I think that's probably the first time in 20 years we're talking about basketball in October. All right, Albert, any parting words before we go?
That's all. Playing spot, guys. All the stuff we'll start following.
Yes, if you got a LIGA deadline, 504-837-1304. We'll see you in 2 weeks in All Things Legal. We'll be off next week, so y'all have a great couple of weeks. Go Tigers, and hopefully the Saints will make a little comeback by the time we meet again. All right, we'll see you then.